Okay, hello. I got a microphone, so now the wind isn't too bad. But yeah, today we are fishing at Ballybrack Club Camp, fishing Roney Point. Conditions are pretty good. We had a decent blow last night, so the water is nice and coloured. The wind has swung around to be more westerly, so it's pretty calm. I'll show you the beach in a second. And I have no idea how this beach has been fishing. I haven't fished it since... When was the last time I fished it? April? No, not April. March, maybe. Obviously very different species then to what we expect today. So I think today we're probably looking at... I'm hoping dogfish. And hopefully a few smooth-hounds make an appearance. This beach also has the very occasional ray. And then there's also whiting, dabs, schoolies, flounder. But yeah, I think today I'm going to definitely start off looking for dogs, see how we get on. I'm also going to fish a crab bait on one of the hooks in anticipation of a hound. This is the wrong rig. Give me 1 second. I'll go get the right rig. Okay, now we have the right rig. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go hounds and dogs first cast, see what's out there, and then make some adjustments. Look, if we need to go to a scratching rig, we'll go to a scratching rig, but I really don't want to. So yeah, first cast, I'm probably going to go 3-hook loop. So my loop rigs are this long. I made these in a bit of haste, so I didn't measure anything, but yeah, 70-pound rig body onto 20-pound amnesia with a size 3 Varivas saltwater champ. So very simple. I'm going to try with a 5 ounce to start. I don't anticipate a lot of tide run, they're very small tides. And then the other rig is a 2-hook loop, but we have a slightly different approach. Top hook is size 3 Varivas, and the bottom hook is actually a size 1 circle with a dongle. So that's going to be the tactic for the hounds. Because I have used that last year to really good success in competitions, just the bottom hook with a dongle. Didn't miss a bite, didn't lose a hound. And I saw a few anglers lose fish. When you're rushing in a competition, you can easily pull a hook out of a hound. So I find the size 1 circle pretty decent. I'll show you around. Rods today, we're going to go with a T1000, and that is a Fathom 15 loaded with 18 pound, not 80 pound, 18 pound F1. And then the other rod is my T900 with a 7HT mag. So look, if I need to go out really far, I have that option. But I think, let's get optimistic. If the dogs are there, I'd rather have the T1000s, just a bit more poke in the rod, and then the Fathom's a winch, so it'll hopefully speed up my turnover time, because I'll be forever trying to reel in 3 dogs with a 7HT. But yeah, the Fathom, sometimes you don't even notice a fish on. So yeah, let's get baited up. Bait wise today, we have and then bait wise, we have a mackerel. I have my sand deal in a flask in newspaper. I have some lovely crab there. I have some blow lug there, a couple of wrigglers, and then we've got some rag. So I think they will be probably the bait for today. First cast, I think we're gonna go maybe rag, sand eel, rag, maybe 2 rags. Maybe tip one of the rags off with a bit of mackerel. Next cast, I'm gonna try a bit of crab with a sand eel, and hopefully we'll see what bait is the fish are onto, and then we can just start lumping that on the traces. But yeah, this is the beach today. Like I said, pretty calm. A little bit of a small swell rolling in just after last night's blow, but yeah, looks fishy. The only thing that slightly put me off is the tide, but beggars can't be choosers. Okay, so let's bait up. Let's bring you a bit closer. Okay, so let's bait up. First cast, I think we're gonna go little sand eel. I really don't like big baits, as I've said it before. Okay, first cast. So I think we're gonna go a little bit of sand eel. Try and hope for that dog. Come on, man. There we go. So, sand eel bottom hook. Nice. Bait stop is actually whipped into the eel so it doesn't slide around. Next one, we're gonna go ragworm. Gonna head. And to be fair to ragworm, it's actually a pretty decent bait for hounds as well. They do like it, so if I didn't have crab today, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but you definitely do want a bit of crab. Does fish a bit better than rag for me. We're not going to tip that off with anything, just so we don't put off a schoolie that finds that bait, or like I said, a little hound. I think we're just going to see how that fishes, and then we're going to put a little bit of crab on at the moment, or a little bit of crab on the top hook, I should say. What I was going to say is, at the moment, the crab are really small. They're all just kind of small hens this time of year. So, yeah, they're definitely not the biggest crab going, but that is no big deal. I don't really like massive baits. I'm going to put a little bit of rag up the snood, and then I'm going to tip it off with a bit of crab. And with the crab, I always go thick end first, so that the hook's going down into the smaller end. Just gonna weave it on, and then weave it on, then through that leg socket. Just have that hook point nice and proud, and then a little bit of elastic. This drives me mad about this dispenser. It always gets lost. But we can get it back. Okay. Push that bait stop back down. Then we have a little bait like that. A single rag. and then the sand eel on the bottom hook. And I actually might just tip that sand eel off with a little piece of mackerel. This is some mackerel that I caught last week, so pretty fresh, just frozen down. But yeah, there we go. We've got 2 minutes, so yeah, pretty tight, but look, we'll get this out there and see how we get on. Alright, first cast going out. Okay, so first cast, we had one dog. Don't you dare, don't you dare. On ragworm. So I think next cast we're going to try 2 ragworm baits. But yeah, always good to get a fish in your first cast. Got a little hound. Just gonna measure him in now, but yeah, he just slacklined me there. He was on the very vast saltwater champ, so small little hook, but luckily he didn't pop it in the surf. But yeah, delighted with him. Oh my god, very busy. Next cast, doggy and another hound. So that brings me up to 3 dogs, 2 hounds. So not bad going. That's 4 casts in. Seems to be a bit of tide pull now. So yeah, nice and busy. Yeah, just checking in. It's been a bit chaotic the last little while. We're almost 2 hours into the comp. I have 4 hounds, 3 dogs. Last cast was my first blind cast. I kind of slipped on a rock and it didn't go out quite as far as the rest of the cast, and then I just didn't get a fish. So we're on to 2 hooks and yeah, just banging it out as far as we can, a bit of crab. So yeah, check back in a while. We are back. It's been very quiet. Haven't had a fish in about an hour now, so stuck on 4 dogs, 4 hounds. Dennis next to me has 3 hounds, 5 dogs. So we were battling it out for a while, which was good crack, and then the fish just stopped feeding. There's still the odd dog coming in around the beach, but in general it's been pretty quiet. So I'm hoping they should come back on the feed soon. I mean, it's getting dark, so you'd imagine now's the time. We've just got about an hour and a half left, so I'm gonna keep fishing with 3 hooks, try and scratch out a fish or so, and then I think for the last hour we're gonna go back out with the 2 hooks and the slightly larger baits, and see if we can get another run of hounds. I'm hoping they'll come back in the feed, but we shall see. But yeah, this cast is going to be rag, sand eel, crab, and we'll probably put it out about, I gotta go about 100 yards, just a thump, and hopefully we'll get one. Cool, so that's how we finished up. Like I said, I went dead for about an hour there. Actually more than an hour, probably 2 hours I went dead, but hounds came back on again at the end, so not too bad. A few hounds, few dogs, so happy enough with that. And we are back. Yeah, I thought I'd do a quick outro today. just because last night was quite late when we finished up. I just wanted to get home, sort the bait out and all the gear, and obviously get the results as well. But yeah, interesting comp. It fished roughly how I thought it was going to fish. Said I was going for dogs and hounds at the start. That's pretty much what I caught. There was a couple of flounder, a couple of whiting. I think there was a dab along the beach, and that was it. Everyone else's fish were dogs and hounds, so that was good. What I didn't think was going to happen was just this period of nothingness in the middle of the competition where there was no fish. There was like the odd fish still coming in, but first hour and a half I had 4 dogs and 4 hounds, and then like literally nothing, not a bite. I tried scratching with some smaller baits, seeing if I could pick up a flounder in close or a schoolie or anything just to kind of keep that card ticking over, but nothing, which was a little bit disconcerting because I built up a decent lead at the start of the comp, and it was kind of eradicated, I guess, as people picked up the odd fish and just kind of made up a bit of ground on me. But then the last hour I added another 4 hounds and 2 dogs. I think the math is right there. So that was a very good last hour. The tide just backed off a little bit, like it was racing during that time of nothingness. It was hard to hold bottom, and I suspect I wasn't able to hold bottom where I was at the start, which is where the fish were feeding. I was just getting swept off that feature, and then as soon as it eased off, I was able to hold bottom again, and I was able to pick up the fish again. So that's a nice little learning to have. Although I don't think there's much I could do about it next time, unless I go to like an 8 ounce lead, but I don't think I could cast that. But yeah, it was a bit of a frantic finale, but pretty happy with how I fished overall. There's nothing I would have really done differently. Trying to think, was there anything I would have done differently? No, I was really pleased with how I fished. I went after the bigger fish and got the bigger fish. So yeah, it's always rewarding when a plan kind of pays off. I ended up winning the beach overall, so I was happy with that. That's the second club comp in a row I've got an overall win, and obviously get the zone points as well. So I needed that as well, because the start of the year we had a couple of comps there that were a bit scratchy, a bit hit and miss. I think I picked the wrong tactics on one of the competitions in particular, and yeah, I needed to make up a few points just to get back into the Master Angler. So yeah, really happy with how I fished. There was a beautiful hound caught by Dennis next to me, which was 110 centimetres. That was an absolute cracker. Biggest hound I had in the night was 92, which was a fun fish. But yeah, gear wise as well, really happy with the selection I made. I went with the T1000 and the Fathom 15. It doesn't cast quite as far as my 7HTs and my T900, but it honestly made like reeling in fish like that a pleasure, because it's just such a winch, and it's nice having the ratchet on the reel as well, so you're just able to back it off a bit and not worry about having your rod swept in. Although every hound that I did catch was a slack liner, so yeah, pretty happy overall. On to the next comp, which will be this weekend on Kilcool. That'll be a Leinster League, so that'll be a bigger open. That could be a fun one. I fished Kilcool last week and caught nothing except weed. There was a lot of weed, and the water's been a bit chopped up the last week or so I'd be a little bit cautious about weed on the ground there. That could be a difficult enough one to fish, but we'll see. Hopefully there's not too much weed, because it can fish really, really well, especially into an evening tide. Tides are also pretty big, So that tide will be very strong. You'll definitely need a minimum of a 7-ounce gripper, and even then you won't be holding bottom for certain periods of the tide, but hopefully there's dogs. If it's calm, there'll be dogs, probably gurnard, odd place, odd flounder, odd schoolie, but yeah, it could either be heartbreak or quite an enjoyable competition, but we'll see. So yeah, we will try and improve our content capture at the next competition, although that's a night one as well, so it's kind of hard once it gets dark. That's the only thing I've kind of learned. Once it gets dark, yeah, this was hard capture and stuff. You're just fully focused on the rod tip and baiting up and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, but anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, on to the next competition. Keep her lit.